this is not what we should be as America. We should be pro-life, pro-peace.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate that. And that's starting to open up
I think in the
space for
future
debate.
that will be the primary way people look at it. Just the way a lot of people opposed the Vietnam War in the late 60s, but it was, you would get attacked. And I think now people realize like that was the correct response. And I think in the future people will realize the correct response is like, this is not yeah, October 7th was awful. Absolutely.
Obviously.
Terrible attack. But also, what they've done to Gaza is fucking insane.
It's insane.
And if you can't see that, if you can't say that, and your response is, Israel has the right to defend itself. Like, what are you talking about? Against what? Children?
Right.
Against women and children that are getting blown apart? Against aid workers that are getting killed?
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about? Like, we can't have a rational conversation if you're not willing to address that.
The way in which every demographic has turned against Israel over this shit in Gaza, except essentially boomer Republicans who are still as strong as they've ever been in supporting them. But Israel it's really in many ways like the third rail of American politics. Like, this is the thing you are not allowed to talk about. This is the thing that would get you fired from CNN, would get you kicked out of D.C., would get your career ruined. Pat Buchanan made a joke once on the McLaughlin Group, like years ago, like decades ago. He made a joke once where he said something about, he said Congress is Israel-occupied territory or something like that. And for the rest of his career, this was the scandal. This was, hit pieces were written about this. Now, the young people are totally outside of that ecosystem, and they're just hearing from different people, and they're like, no, I'm not buying it. And it's, I think it's a mix of a few things. Like, I think it's just that, we have the technology. It's in 4K. You can see what Israel's doing to Gaza. It is so evil that it's damn near impossible to find a way. I mean, some people do, but it is really difficult to find a way to be like, I'm actually okay with that. It's been going on for years at this point. And then the second thing is just that, like, the relationship between the U.S. government and the Israeli government is so freaking bizarre that once you see it, and once a whole generation of young people see it, it's like impossible for them to unsee it. And it's just too
gets
weird.
Into New York City mayoral politics.
Yeah, like this is, and the idea that it is, the idea that it's just accepted as normal that the politicians for your country must worship this other country. And you're like, so what did that other country like beat us in a war and they're occupying us now? And you're like, no, you're the superpower. They're your welfare country, But yet you must go kiss their wall. You must say, hey, Tammy Bruce from the State Department. And I know she was kind of being tongue-in-cheek, but where she goes, we're the greatest country in the world. Well, second greatest to Israel. And you're like, what?
Was she being tongue-in-cheek?
I don't know exactly. It
was a weird thing to say.
That is a weird thing for any representative of your government to say. If anyone sat there and went, I think America is the greatest country in the world. Well, Finland, I guess, is the greatest, and we're number 2. You'd be like, what? I'm like, Finland's a cool country. I got nothing against them, but what are you talking about, Yeah. But really, I do think it's the relationship. It's how horrible what Israel's doing is, and it's how clearly it's not in our national interest. You do kind of have to question the relationship between D.C. and Tel Aviv and like what is going on here, because this is so utterly bizarre. It's so crazy to see like the American people are against what Israel's doing to Gaza. It obviously hurts it hurts our, as they use in the preamble to the Constitution. I like that phrase, domestic tranquility, right? This is destroying our domestic tranquility. We got protests. We got people fighting over this stuff. We're pissing off the Muslim world again, which we've already had to deal with, them hating our guts. Now
we're deporting students.
We're deporting legal residents because they had the wrong opinion. This is all, and like, it's impossible to not look at this and go like, hey, what's going on here? And they don't have any answer for that. And the other thing, too, is that it's just, I don't know if you've noticed this, but there's a lot of people now trying to jump off of the sinking ship. A lot of people who are even like supporters of Israel who are kind of going like, I think they are going a little too far on this one. And they're trying, because it's just, you see, you can see the writing on the wall
Yeah.
all over the place, man. Like you're gonna be looked at. This is gonna be the period, and it's not even like supporting the war in Iraq. It's like much worse than that, dude. Like you're just supporting this destruction of these. They just launched another offensive on Gaza City the other day. They're bombing rubble. Like it's just it's biblical levels of evil. And you know, we're sitting here like even as we're having this conversation now, I know like a few. I remember like coming on the podcast like a couple years ago, and like when this conflict first started, and then when it would go, and it was almost like I was coming on like to be like, look, let me present the argument for why we shouldn't support what Israel's doing here, and let me like try to like present the other side of the debate. I feel now like the debate's over. I don't even think there's like much of a debate to be had. I'll keep doing them if somebody wants to come debate about the issue. But what are we talking about here?